Hello everyone and welcome to the review show of yesterday at the Valley for Carlyon Stakes Day, as well as touching on a few of the races up there at Randwick from Winx Stakes Day. We'll start with a bit of an overview of the Valley meeting. It was an advantage to be on speed. And there was only one horse that settled worse than midfield and won, and that was the favourite in the staying race. So it was quite advantageous to be on speed with the rail out 5. If you missed last week's video, that WFA category stands for Wait for Age. It's pretty much a custom-made rating system that I built myself, so it doesn't use... I don't pay for any services, so I don't have the full insight. It's just a couple of variables that everyone can get on racingaustralianracing.com, pretty much thrown into a formula to spit out a number and then standardise that number to if the horse was running at weight for age. So that's what the WFA category means. Let's get on now with the feature of yesterday at the Valley, the Carlyon Stakes. So the Carlyon Stakes was taken out impressively by Barraquil. We'll pick up the replay from about the 700 metre mark. Barraquil, they came off the inside, which presented a perfect run up on the inside for Barraquil to take and win the race impressively. Almost got scratched prior to the race, but luckily it was past fit to start because it recorded a very dominant win. Barraquil is now the second favourite for the Moir Stakes at $5. Personally, I think Barraquil has the ability to win a Moir Stakes. He's 3 from 3 at the track, and he just showed his liking to the track and the distance yesterday combined, the 1,000 metres at the Valley. So I think that makes him a live Moir contender. Mornington Glory won this race last year, went on to win a Moir. Bella Nipotina won this race 3 years ago and then should have won the Moir. With Barraquil, I think he can follow a similar path to those two horses. However, Mornington Glory and Bella Nipotina both started above $10 in the Moir Stakes. I think the market's found Barraquil a bit too well. So if you're looking to back Barraquil in the futures markets, I'd stay away and see what he is come the acceptances. But I think that he should be a very good live contender in the Moir Stakes. He's got the ability. That right on Oak Hill, the favourite, Mark Zara would want that one back again. If Oak Hill was going to have any sort of a chance with the way the track was racing, he needed to get a more positive position on that horse. It jumped out with them. He could have sort of held a position 1 or 2 pairs closer than what he did, and then Oak Hill just reef and teared. It was not a good watch for Oak Hill backers. Luckily, I wasn't one yesterday, and it'll be interesting to see how Barraquil goes in the Moir. We'll now get straight onto the black bookers out of Moonee Valley. I've got 4 black bookers highlighted from yesterday. We'll watch the Carlyon Stakes again. Highlighted is the horse that settled outside the leader in Golden Boom. Now, I know Golden Boom had the map advantage over a few of its rivals in that, and suited the track bias in that it was advantageous to be on speed and also kind of off the inside. But Golden Boom fits the Salmonator Black Bookers rules in that it was between first to third up. It had a good last 200 metre sectional split. It was doing some good work after the line. So with those things combined, I thought it was a good run from Golden Boom. He ran second in this race last year, beaten by Mornington Glory, and he's ran very similarly again, beaten by a good one in Barraquil. So I want to be following Golden Boom in a suitable race next start. I've got 2 black bookers out of the same race here, Estremo and Regal Award out of the 5th race at Moonee Valley. Now, Estremo sort of goes against the Salmonator's Black Booker rules in that it had the fastest last 200 metres split of the race. Even though that's good when you want to identify a horse to follow, it usually means we're not going to get much of a price about the horse at its next start because it ran such a fast last 200 metres compared to the rest of the race. However, it was a mile off him, and after the line, when I'm watching, following my Salmonator Black Booker rules to see which horse does the best work after the line, usually at the Valley, because it's such a sharp turn, the horses on the inside just seem to excel, so we have to sort of even that out. But Estremo was wide out, and he was really powering after the line, so either a step up in trip or getting to a bigger track, I'd be following Estremo. With Regal Award, it's by Ole Kirk out of Sovereign Award. That's a miler on a miler. So I think up to 1,400 metres next start, Regal Award was decent after the line, as well as Estremo. I think we can follow them both. And finishing off with Globe out of race number 8. Again, just like Golden Boom, I understand it was well suited by the track bias in that it was outside the leader and off the inside a bit. However, it was a really hard run race. They went quite fast in front, and Run Harry Run and also Hard to Cross were two race fit horses from the winter, and Globe was coming back first up. And I remember getting to the 400 meter mark and saying to myself in my head, gee, Globe's going to drop away here. You know, it's first up. They looks like they've gone a solid tempo. Run Harry Run's hard fit. Hard to Cross is hard fit with the lightweight, which is what got Hard to Cross over the line. But I thought Globe's run was very good considering he was first up, conceding race fitness. He'll only get more fitness from that run. Second up, and then third up. I think third up, he won a Cranbourne Cup last preparation, so that might be the best time to back Globe, but I'll be looking forward to following him. Moving up to Sydney now, let's start with the Silver Shadow Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies over 1,200 metres. Savvy Halley wins the race. Within the Law runs a good second, and then they gap third, and Queen of Clubs was slicing through there for third. So those that watch my spring features early tips video, I highlighted Queen of Clubs for a VRC Oaks, and based off its breeding and the way it ran yesterday, I'm happy to throw Queen of Clubs straight in the Futures Bet series for the VRC Oaks. It's currently $9 in the market, and I just think it's going to get up over a trip, and it ran well yesterday. Within the Law is not going to go in the Futures Bet series yet. It's going to be in another segment later on, but good wins, Savvy Halley. Within the Law was really good. Queen of Clubs was really good. Not sure what to make of Agar Wood. I haven't seen the Stewards report or anything like that, so it was disappointing based off its price. We'll now touch on the Winx Stakes. Via Sistina returns with a win. AELIANA was really, really good in defeat, and I'm excited to see what AELIANA can do this preparation, especially that considering her best form, at least that she's shown to date, is over further. Same with Via Sistina. Nothing out of the Futures Bet, well, nothing going into the Futures Bet series out of the race. If anything, I would have put Via Sistina in for a Cox Plate, but it's quite a short price, so I didn't bother putting it in the Futures Bet series. AELIANA, I thought it was a really, really good run yesterday. I didn't expect AELIANA to get that close to Via Sistina, but because she did, I can't wait to see where they go this preparation, and I can't see them losing too many more races. The last race I want to highlight is the Show County Quality, where I want to highlight a very impressive horse. First up as a 4-year-old mare against the boys, wins super convincingly. It is Lazura. Now, I was going to throw this horse in the Futures Bet series for an Epsom handicap over 1,600 on the 4th of October. But the only things, well, two things are stopping me. The first is the 1,600 metres. She's never won over the trip before. I think she will get to that trip in time and probably run very well at that trip. But because she hasn't got there yet, I just couldn't throw it in. As well as that, you've got the presence of Autumn Glow. I don't know whether Chris Waller's going to want to throw these two mares in the same race too often, because I think they're both very, very good in their own right. In terms of lead-up races, you've got the Theo Marks and the Bill Ritchie up there in Sydney. You've got the Sarupa Clark down in Melbourne. There's plenty of options for both Autumn Glow and Lazura to target, and I assume they're going to go to different races so that they don't clash. And if Lazura wins an Epsom handicap this year, I will be looking back on this video, kicking myself why I didn't throw it in the Futures Bet series. So Karinska and Queen of Clubs are the only two horses currently in the Futures Bet series. 50-1 was secured about Karinska last week. I think it's now into $15 for the Flight Stakes, so that's some decent shopping. And then Queen of Clubs, it's a long way away, the VRC Oaks, but I think it's a really good chance. Now on to a new segment. It's called Salmonator's Statements. Pretty much like the Futures Bet series, but for races that, or things that aren't able to be in the Futures Bet series, if you know what I mean. So the first one, my first statement is Within the Law will win the T-Rose. That's a 1,400 metre race on the 20th of September for 3-year-old fillies. I just think this distance range, the 3-year-old fillies that have been shown to date Within the Law up to 1,400 metres, I think will win the T-Rose, but you can't bet on the T-Rose yet, so it's not going in the Futures Bet series. The other one is Barrakiel, I think is the leading contender at the moment for the Moir Stakes, but the price is too short. As I said before, Mornington Glory and Bella Nipotina, who won the Carlyon, and then, well, Bella should have won the Moir. And Mornington Glory did win the Moya. They were both about $10. So Barrackeel, $5 and under, I think are pretty toxic odds, and we'll be hoping for better by the time the race comes around. All right, that's going to do it for the review show for this week. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you've got any questions about anything related to yesterday's racing, let me know in the comments below. And until next video, bye for now.